I grew up in a Catholic kind of house. We went to Sunday Mass. I was a server, all the things in a traditional kind of Catholic family. In middle school time frame, stuff got busy, life got in the way. So kind of pulled apart a bit from religion in that regard. When you can't really control life, the one thing I could control was math. Numbers are always there, science is there. Those two things, like, they made sense to me. The world is made up in numbers. So I really dove deep into the math and sciences, as then in a coincidental time, we were kind of getting away from going to church all the time. As I was diving more and more into science, the thoughts kind of came through of, well, what I'm learning about science doesn't super equate to what I had learned at church. In school, I'm learning one thing, math and sciences are telling me one thing. It felt like there was a big debate going back and forth. It very much at that time seemed like it was either like religion or science. So at the time I had spoken to my childhood priest, and he had kind of cleared some things up, enough to kind of get through confirmation. I went to college, and I didn't go to church at college. I was an engineer for most of my life. Studying the science and going to religion is seen very conflicting, and that's where it felt very much as an or statement of there's either religion or science, can't be both. And at that point, to me, the science was what made sense. Fast forward a bit, I moved out here for my job, and my roommate, she attended Bridgewater in Vestal. My fiance, he moved out here about 6 months later, and hanging out with my roommate then, he heard a bit about Bridgewater, and he was super into it. He wanted to go. He came here for, maybe a year, pretty much independently. And then one day at the gym we go to, this new coach shows up, and we're like, oh, cool, who are you? And ends up being Tim. And we end up just kind of getting a friendship and learning about him as a person, and realize, he's kind of a cool dude. So once we heard, we didn't know he was a pastor, especially at Conklin, and so we're like, well, let's go. Kind of just like supporting your friend at that point. So we went, and the first service, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is neat. It felt comfy. It wasn't like nothing was kind of forced down your throat. It was just kind of come as you are. And it was probably a few months in at that point where Tim just kind of asked me one day of like, oh, what's your relationship with Jesus, with God? And I'm pretty sure my answer right away was, oh, well, we're chill. And I didn't understand the context necessarily of what he was asking. And then as he explained it a little bit more of the context of his question, it was like, well, I have these questions. And that was really where I got pieces of it from Tim. He sent me to different resources that I could use. And at the same time, I got involved with the Women's Alliance group over at Conklin, where they're answering my obnoxious questions. And they had so much insight too about a lot of the things. I got pieces of it from my best friend, who also was sending me like, oh, hey, go look at this is cool. And all those little tidbits here and there, it led me to the right places that I could go look at, the right resources to read, the different ways to think about things. And so very slowly attending church every week, and things just kind of started making sense. There was a devotional in the YouVersion app that talked about religion and science. So naturally, I came back to Tim with a million questions. Like, I don't get these things. He kind of explained, like, you can have questions, have all the questions. You can still choose Jesus to be the forgiver of your sins, leader of your life, and continue asking all those questions. Asking the questions is what helps you understand him more and draw you closer to him, but you can still choose that well before you have every single answer to the questions. And that was kind of what went, oh, cool, I guess I'll do that now. Like, okay. Jesus creating everything means he's also created the sciences too. So trying to understand the sciences is really trying to understand him more too. As I learn more and more about it, it's more so learning about it and going, hey, this guy was cool. Like, he did all this, like, that was cool, that was awesome. Like, I can't believe he put all this thought into it, like the way the electrons work together, like it was perfect.